How's it going today? I'm Lex and welcome to Sandals and Steel Toes. Today is going to be our 4th garden tour of the 2020 summer gardening season. It is June 24th and it is a beautiful summer day. We've had a lot of big changes in the last week, mostly due to some wonderful rain showers we finally got and some warm up in our temperatures. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the garden today. If you haven't already, please go click that subscribe button to be on the lookout and get notifications for future videos. We're uploading videos weekly and I don't want you to miss anything, so go ahead and click that subscribe button. Thanks. Today's tour, we're going to start looking at the perennial gardens. We have had tons of beautiful blossoms this week. All that summer floral sunshine is coming out and I didn't really get a chance to show you much of that last time, so let's start there. Some really nice herbs, thyme, lemon basil, which smells just like lemon. It's really great. I went ahead and picked some of this lemon basil the other day and infused it in some just cold water. It tasted just like lemon water. Oregano, rue, peppermint, all kinds of stuff. The arugula had gone to seed, but I have it left there for now to save the seeds, and the sage as well. Everything is growing really big. I'm gonna have purple liatris here soon, all blossoming, and black-eyed Susans. So a lot of good things to come. One thing when you're planting a perennial garden is to try and think about when your flowers are going to blossom and plant accordingly to that, because it's nice to have pops of color mixed throughout your garden throughout the spring and summer, because obviously not everything's going to flower all at the same time. Patch of rosemary. I started this all from seed this spring, thinking that I would have rosemary plants by now, but it takes a really long time for rosemary to grow. So I will likely be storing these guys inside over winter so they don't die off, and they will be ready for picking next year. This is my favorite flower right now in the garden. Big, beautiful cluster of these lilies. They're just awesome. Caddis have started to bloom. Sundrop primroses, bleeding heart, it's getting really big now. A new addition to the garden is this lovely birdhouse that my mom built. So it's really beautiful, great pop of color, and it's encouraging our birdies to come and visit. What this I thought was chamomile that came up here is actually something that goes by the name of feverfew. This is an herb that I had never heard of until yesterday. A friend in one of a local group informed me of what it was, and after doing some research on it, it has a lot of really interesting medicinal properties. So this is something that I will try to harvest and dry, but you can make teas with it, and other herbal remedies. Looks so much like chamomile blossoms, but the leaves are really different look to them. And the flower kind of smells like Vicks Vapor Rub. The lupine has gone to seed. So these are all the little seed pods. As you can see, they're really green right now. But in a month or so, they'll be dry and brown, and then I'll be able to take the seeds out of them and start more plants. This yarrow, so beautiful. Great for pollinators. I see bees and other pollinators all over this every day. Another great tool for herbal remedies. The daylilies have just started to open up. So in the next couple days, these are going to be completely full. Bees love this. Things really have grown a lot this year and are overcrowding a lot of my garden space over here. So most of these are going to get transplanted at the end of the season. And my blue hydrangea is just starting to flower. So did you know that hydrangeas can change their color based on the pH of their soil? So this blue hydrangea is blue because the soil in this garden is very acidic. It has a lower pH. This plant specifically came from a propagation of one of my mom's from her home, and she planted it here. Now at her house, the flowers were all pink. However, when this was planted here and blossomed its first year, we noticed it was blue, and I'm like, how is that blue? It's because there used to be a large maple tree over here in this garden that was taken down, and the result was a very acidic soil because of that tree. So this hydrangea here continues to bloom with blue flowers. So it's really cool. There are special mixtures made for hydrangea flowers to change the soil pH to turn them blue. I've seen them at the garden stores. So if you have a hydrangea that is currently pink and you would like it to be more of a blue color, all you have to do is change the soil pH and you will have a blue hydrangea. It's pretty cool. All of the hydrangeas over here in the back garden, these will all bloom with pink flowers. You can start to see them on this one. They all came from the same parent plant, the same conditions. On this side of the garden is the soil has a higher pH and is more alkaline, which results in the pink flowers. So a little science lesson for today. So even coffee grounds put on hydrangea plants can help lower the pH and give it more acidity. So if you don't want to buy anything to lower your pH, if you like coffee, save your coffee grounds and put those around the base of your plant, and that will feed your plant and help it turn blue. A little thing you could try. Lavender is in full bloom. I would love to have a full row somewhere on my property of just lavender, like you see in photos of lavender farms, just rows and rows of lavender. I would love to have one row like that of just lavender. It is the best and it smells great. Wish you could smell it. Strawberries are pretty much done producing, and there's a couple stragglers left on, but they are for the most part all done now. I looked back at my photos and I got my first berry 16 days ago only. It was June 8th. That was the first ripe strawberry. So just a little bit over 2 weeks and the strawberries are already done. Kind of sad. However, I will try not to be too sad about our strawberries because I'm about to get really sick of eating raspberries. We just started to get our first ripe red raspberries. And y'all, I'm telling you, we've got raspberries for days. I mean, these bushes are completely loaded. It won't be too long before this entire thing is filled with ripe raspberries. So the boys have been out here picking every single little ripe raspberry they can find. There hasn't been too many yet. And they have been fighting over who gets them. I'm like, guys, don't fight. We're gonna have so many here so quickly. And speaking of berries, while we're on the topic, my mom just identified this for me a week ago, that this is an elderberry. No idea I had an elderberry tree in my yard. So I have all this here, and then back there there's another one. So that's awesome. I don't know how I never realized this before, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have elderberries. I actually watched a video the other day from Off the Grid with Doug and Stacy. Their channel's on YouTube. A really lovely couple sharing their homesteading experience. And there was a video all about how to propagate your elderberries by cutting the 1-year-old branches off. I'm not gonna do that now. That's something that you would do like in the fall or winter. But I definitely plan on trying to propagate these and actually having a row of them so I can make stuff with elderberries. So it was a really cool find. I've been here for 4 years and yeah, never realized I had elderberries. So this is a pretty cool find. But it makes sense. My home was established in 1850. So stands to make sense that the people of that time had all kind of berry bushes here. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lucas. I learned how to run my bike without training wheels right now, and I'm going to show you.
Look, he's so excited. He learned how to ride his bike without training wheels. So now we are ready to upgrade to a bigger boy bike because this one's kind of little. You're doing great. You're balancing so well. Woohoo! Good job, babe. That was awesome. You did so good. I am super proud of you, baby. Yeah. And now we're gonna take a walk through the sandbox. See all the big changes that happened this week.
You should cut this. It's in the way.
What, the asparagus?
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
It's in the way.
Let's go check out the garden.
Hi, I'm Lucas. This is me and my brother's garden. These are cowpeas, and this is the chard. And those right here are old carrots.
Very good.
And these are squash.
What kind of squash?
I don't know. Zucchini.
Zucchini. Is there a cucumber plant in there?
Right there.
Don't, yeah, right there. And what about your sunflowers?
Oh, our sunflowers. Are they the? And my tomato plant is right there.
What kind of tomato plant is it, honey? You remember?
What? I know this. A cherry tomato.
A cherry tomato, very good. You've got all kinds of wonderful things in here.
America. Vegetable. Beets.
Yeah. Lots of good things happening down the pepper row. Hot inferno peppers, cayenne peppers, bell peppers, corbaci peppers are growing good, purple bell pepper, jalapenos, all the banana peppers, and some basil in there too. These basil leaves are massive. Look at that. They're giant. Jacob's cattle bush beans. Something on here soon. You can see all those little flower pods getting ready to open. sunflower is looking great, mixed in with all the weeds. It's on the to-do list to take care of that at some point. And I have a mix of 2 different kinds of sunflowers, the big mammoth kind, and also they're smaller sunflower, autumn something. It's got more of a smaller head and like red petals. Oh, more raspberries. The tomatoes are growing really good. They got pruned again this week, and the ones that were big enough got tied up. Flea beetles after the tomatillos, but they really shot up quite a bit this week. The Jersey Devil is growing. These were my later starts, but they're catching up slowly. This Dark Galaxy, ooh, this is great. There's actually 2 in here because I didn't know if the transplants would live, so I put 2 here. I'm gonna have to pull one out or cut it. This one looks to be stronger, so this little one's gonna have to move out soon. There's another Dark Galaxy there. So you can see how I'm pruning these. All of the lower branches have been taken off. Tomatoes, you want to really prune off the bottom layer of leaves so they're not touching the ground. Anything that touches the ground, you're at risk for having the plant contract more disease from dirt splashback. They're really susceptible to that stuff. Like these leaves here that are touching the ground, once this plant's a little bit bigger, I'm gonna prune that branch off because I don't want anything touching the ground that could potentially have soil or anything like that to splash back up on the leaves when it rains or when they're watered. Tomatoes do not like their leaves to get wet, so if you're gonna water them, try and water them at ground level as best you can. And then you'll have a healthier plant with a stronger root system too. They'll be able to focus more of their energy toward producing fruit for you rather than producing leaves. And these really got big this week. Indigo apple, cherry tomatoes, they're catching up too. These are some of my later starts. I've got 2 in each spot here, so I'm gonna have to transplant one of them too. Beets. So I just pulled a weed out where the beets were, and a beet came up with it, and this is how big. I mean, this is tiny. So you get a lot of leaf, a lot of stem, but I still got a tiny beet. So these are still not ready to come out. Carrots are wild and lovely. I've been harvesting quite a bit of peas this week. Looks like I've got another one. You don't want to let your peas go too long, otherwise they don't taste as good. This for me is too small. You can kind of see the peas in there, too small. And this is almost too big. Something like right here. It's like a middle between those 2 sizes. This would probably be ideal right here. So just for reference, these peas are taller than I am, and I'm 5'10". It is in a raised bed that's about a foot up off the ground, but still, it's got some height on me. And we have yellow squash this week. These little guys are gonna be ready real soon. They're still little kind of teeny things, but they are on their way. Nothing yet in zucchini land though. It's interesting how these zucchini plants look. The leaves are just more of a full dark green. They're kind of on the smallerish side, I feel like, compared to the one up in the kids' garden. This is the zucchini in the kids' garden, which is just massive compared to the one down the way. It's the same variety of zucchini. Is started at the same time, planted at the same time. These leaves have a different color variation on them. They're way bigger. This plant overall is much bigger. The only thing I can think of is that this ground here was newly tilled and nothing had been planted there. It also, I did not put any of the horse manure in this garden space, but I did where the other zucchinis are. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. But this is just, this one is great looking. The pumpkins have taken over the space. They've gotten so big this week. Uh-oh. You're supposed to be growing through here, you silly thing. The squashes and your trellising them, they need some help to go the way you want them to, because otherwise they're just gonna do what they want. But the trellis so far is working really good. A lot of good healthy leaves, a lot of nice blossoms starting to set. The Big Mac's pumpkin is really starting to ramble now. Going out into the yard. These butternut rugosas are so pretty. I love the way their leaves look. They're starting to grow well now. Lingusto's getting big. All of our spaghetti squashes are really starting to climb. And oh, hello. You're new here. We got a little baby spaghetti squash. Another one. Oh. Eden roses are getting ready to bloom. They'll be the first blooms on these. Canada crooknecks. Patty pans. Patty pans have lots of little flowers on them. Ooh. He's not happy. I transplanted a couple other squash that I had, like this acorn, and that's one of the Ghee Okosomen. This is a Delectica. I transplanted them over here because the sweetmeat squash, which I did plant, nothing germinated. So this is still bare. Hopefully those get better. The birdhouse gourds have won the race to climbing the trellis first. So very interesting how these are growing. I've never grown birdhouse gourds before. So I didn't really know how their vining pattern would be. So we have the main vine, which has been steadily growing this whole time. And now they're just starting to shoot off like side shoots from it that are rambling. So I'm gonna have to train them back up onto the trellis. And I'm trying to decide what I wanna do. Do I let this just continue to grow up and then drape over and kind of go through the grass? Should I train it to come back down? I don't know, what do you think? Leave a comment below. What should I do how should I train these birdhouse gourd vines? What's the best way to do that? Leave me a comment, let me know. So the Delectica are looking good. This is an okra. And the acorn squash are looking really nice as well. Look how pretty this flower is. I don't remember the name of it. I got it from a nursery, but man, is it pretty. All the flowers along here are so pretty. I can't wait till the nasturtium blossom. I have really exciting update about the sweet potatoes. So if you've been following along, my sweet potatoes have been decimated by pests, tortoise beetles to be exact, and ants. I was combating them for several weeks. Tried organicide, I tried using neem oil, cinnamon. I did resort to using 7 Dust just because I kind of was at a point where I was going to lose the plant. But I'm really happy to report that the 7 Dust worked. It has kept the pest off and my sweet potatoes are recovering really nicely. So there's a link right up here to check out those videos if you're interested in seeing my ordeal. Hey, check it out. Look at all that new growth on my sweet potatoes. Even grass and weeds can grow in here now. All right, so this is an old leaf that was destroyed by the tortoise beetles. This entire plant looked like this, all of mine did. And it's been a week, and this is all of the new growth, all of it, and it's not getting eaten. Ooh, I just saw an ant on it. So we had some rain the last few days. I may have to reapply the 7 Dust if it looks like the pests return. So I'm keeping a really close eye on it. I'm not gonna let the pest destroy these plants again. But they are looking so much better. The potato plants are looking bomb.com. So speaking of pests, another issue that has come up this week, I have had moth caterpillars eating away at the broccoli plants. This white powder is diatomaceous earth. We had a good rain yesterday, so after it was done raining and after the rain was out of the forecast, I sprayed all of these leaves down front and back with neem oil and then applied the diatomaceous earth. It stuck really nicely doing it that way. And I picked off as many of the little wormies that I could find because they just started to appear. And I did notice last weekend some little white moths flying around here, so I'm sure they just laid their eggs and then they hatched. But I do have a little broccoli in there. Oh, yeah, you can see him. Look, one dangling right there. He's like, I don't want to be in that white powdery stuff that'll slice my body up. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that guy out, and then I just stomp on him. Drag my foot across the ground. So if I had purchased some kind of row cover and placed that over these, that would have been a good preventative measure against the moth caterpillars eating the plants. The moths wouldn't have been able to lay their eggs on them with the row cover. It's something that I did not purchase. No specific reason why, I just never got to it. This is one leaf that has some good damage done. And that was really within a day or two of just first noticing them. Oh, this is a really bad leaf. Look at all of them on there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that whole thing, and I'm gonna burn that. These worms will just eat away an entire plant in no time. And there's another one. Look how fat they get. In here is really chewed up. Okay, so we got our melons. So I am gonna nickname these guys Mr. Raj because their name is Madhu Raz Rajasthan honey melon. So Madhu Raz MR. I'm gonna call them Mr. Raj. So here's my Mr. Raj melons. And on this side is gonna be my KJ melons or Kajari melons. They're small personal size melons. So I got my Mr. Raj and my KJ melons. So they'll be climbing the trellis soon. All my pole beans are running. They have made great progress this week. The asparagus has gone wild. It is taking over the walkway, but I kind of like it. Sugar baby watermelons are starting to trellis now, so that's exciting. Train will have to go up. Isn't this birdhouse adorable? My mom, Susan, and my son Lucas, they built this together as a grandmother-grandson project, and Luki's nickname is Hotshot. And I just love this birdhouse. It's the perfect color. Well everyone, that about does it for today's garden tour. I hope you are as excited as I am to see all of the great changes. The garden is really coming along. In only a week's time, there has been so much growth. I've been able to start harvesting things more often during the week. Just really excited about everything and how it's all going. And despite all of the little challenges that I've been having with the pests and the weather and everything else, overall it's been a really wonderful experience. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. If you haven't already, before you go, click the like button below and also subscribe to our channel, Sandals and Steel Toes. I am so happy to have all of your wonderful support, and we'll keep making more videos with your subscription. Thank you so much, and do something you love today. Whatever that may be, go out and do it. You'll feel better afterwards. Thank you again. Have a great day and take care. I believe I can fly, spread my wings and fly away. I believe